Good morning and happy Labor Day, Return to Glory podcast. A bit of background. Dak overslept this morning, so we had him record his takes from the game, a quick little 5-minute breakdown. We might do this every week. Dak did a very good job. So, gonna throw that in here at the beginning, and then we'll get into our regular show for the recap.
I'd like to apologize to the Return to Glory podcast. I may have overslept, so my bad. So we'll move on from that. Well, first off, shout out to the atmosphere at Arrowhead. It was amazing. That was probably the most fun I've ever had at a football game. And it helped that me and Austin met for the first time. All the podcast boys were in the stadium. Not actually in the stadium, but around the stadium. So yeah, that added to it. Now, this is what I thought about the game. Yes, you come away happy with a win. There's a lot to work on. Which, walking out of the stadium, I thought there's a lot more to work on than I thought. But then you watch all these other teams like Alabama, they lost. Texas, of course, they look like shit. I said Arch Manning's going to suck. He does, so horns down right here. But there's two main things Nebraska needs to work on big time. Your O-line, D-line got dominated. And Cincinnati does have a big NFL player, whatever, on their D-line. But their O-line got pushed around. And Cincinnati's O-line kind of pushed the D-line around. I think, is that fixable? I don't know. I really don't know. I guess we'll see. Now, will Pritchard ever see the field again? Because that false start was one of the worst false starts I've ever saw. You cannot jump when you're on the half-yard line like that. All you need is QB sneaker in the field. You cannot jump. Another thing I thought about the game was it kind of felt like Nebraska was vanilla, like they're playing like an Akron. So I don't know if they were like trying to hide stuff because the first game of the year, like hide all their offensive plays, defensive plays. Because they refused to put a spy on Sorsby. And I just couldn't get it because all that dude can do is run. Speaking of him, he sucks. He is not a good quarterback. That dude cannot throw the ball. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Now, let's move to the main side of the ball. Special teams rocked. Finally, I think they have figured it out. You made every field goal an extra point, and Archie looked great. He looked amazing. He hit every single punt. And I think inside the 25. Now that might be wrong. So basically my main recap of the game is big time fix that O-line, D-line. That is bad. Danke also was not in the game plan that much, or Barney, which I think they'll get more involved. And Isaiah Hunter looked great. Emmett Johnson looked pretty solid. You got to fix that goddamn O-line, D-line, though. I'll tell you that. That's scary. And we'll see when we come to Michigan, because Michigan, if your O-line is what it looked like against Cincinnati, Michigan's going to push that bitch around. So, with that, sorry, Turn to Glory, boys. My sound didn't go off on my alarm. Say it with me. Go Big Red. Go Big Red.
Return to Glory podcast. Happy Labor Day, everyone. It's Monday morning. Hunter Zarbernicki and Austin Rose. Dakota Freetags is, I think, a little bit under the weather this morning.
Long weekend. Holiday
long weekend for him. It's a good weekend. Huskers are 3-0. I mean, 1-0. I just been telling people 3-0 because the next two games are gimmies.
Well, and I mean, if you factor in volleyball this weekend, we did go 3-0 over the weekend.
Okay, factor in volleyball. We are 3-0 due to volleyball. And first time that we have beat a Power 5 opponent in the opening game of the year since 2003. And we talked about the importance of this first game a lot. But before we get into the football game, let's give our quick praises to the volleyball team. Lipscomb on Friday, I believe, went as expected, and then tough one against Kentucky.
Number 7 Kentucky gave us a. I will say we didn't look super sharp. They looked really sharp the first two sets, and then we kind of tightened it up, and they kind of fell apart. But Danny Busboom Kelly pulling some bold subs out there, swapping our liberos, and it worked out. It was a really good game. It's one of those games where I'm glad we got the win. It's our third win over a top 7 team in the first 4 games of the year. But it also is like, okay, we have room to improve. Outside hitters kind of need to work on our offense a little bit.
Got some things to improve on. That's always a good thing to notice early in the year by playing tough opponents.
It was honestly, it was one of the, it's been a while since I watched a volleyball game where the coach she made like subs. Like she put in the Virginia, Andriani, or I don't know how you pronounce her last name. The Italian girl. I subbed her in out on the outside just for more defense. And it was interesting. Like there was it was like, oh, I can actively see you trying to figure it out mid-game, and it worked.
Making adjustments. I think they put in that Olivia Mock in over Lainey Choboy at libero too. So yeah, good job, DBK volleyball team. But I had to throw that in there because we probably would have forgot once we dive into this football game.
That's fair.
Guys, we're 1-0, 3-0, 1-0.
Look at how optimistic you are.
I'm not optimistic. I'm just happy because I did not expect to win. I didn't think we were going to win this game because we don't win these games. And
we were at I showed up to the tailgate admittedly late, but everyone's just like, oh man, Hunter's over here just spewing shit,
not spewing. I just didn't think we were going to win.
You gotta read the room, Hunter.
We don't win these games. So that's why, I'm happy that we won. I'm not optimistic. I'm just positive. I'm encouraged that we won this game. Like I didn't think we were going to win. And there's a lot of things we're going to get to here, but I just wanted to see us win a big game like this on a big stage, a close game. It was a 1-score game. I mean, when Malcolm Hartsaw got that pick at the end of the game, I mean, I
let you guys stay up.
I was like, holy cow, we actually did it. Like we didn't find a way to lose this game because, I mean, everyone I can almost guarantee was like, this is the song and dance that we go through. I even said it out loud. I think, I don't know at what point in the fourth quarter, and some Husker fan right in front of us turned around and looked at me and he's like, no, we're not losing. Like he was pissed. He's like, we are not losing this game. I was like, okay, sir.
I was on the couch. Everyone in the house I was watching this game with was sleeping except for me. And Maddie said the reason she knew I wasn't sleeping was because I was just tense the whole time, just kind of squirming. Because that whole last drive, I was like, this is where we goof up. This is how it always goes. Like like, oh, this is it. Here's like they're marching down the field. It's gonna happen, and then it didn't.
It's funny we don't even have to like tell people that narrative anymore because even like the casual fan knows that we lose close games now. And I rewatched the game last night, and there was a guy on they put on TV that had the shirt of "We almost always almost
Yeah,
win" or
win.
something. Like the
They put them
announcers
on the
didn't even
TV a
really have
couple
to talk
times.
about it. Everybody knew.
Um, I guess, talk about Arrowhead for a second before we start going specifics. I see tailgating scene was good, but on TV, it occasionally sounded super loud, but I imagine it was really loud the whole time. They just kind of filtered out some of the noise so you can hear the announcers. Is that kind of how it shook out?
Yeah, very loud. The announcers too, just listening to them. They commented on it probably more than they even needed to on
Well, there's
TV.
like three Cincinnati fans that they're like, oh, we'll show these three fans over and over because these are the only three we can find.
But yes, it was, talk about 90%, 95%, 98% Nebraska fans tailgating scene and at the game. It was a Husker home game, and that was a huge factor.
I I would probably say
Huge.
that was the difference, to be honest. I
It
don't think we win if it's in Cincinnati. With if
it
the
make
exact same game,
yes,
yeah.
different game. I believe I counted 4 false starts that,
Yeah.
whether you want to directly attribute those to the crowd noise,
I mean, you
maybe you
could see them.
can.
You probably noticed it more last night when you were watching on TV, just like the quarterback Sorsby trying to communicate with everyone, and
Correct. Yeah,
I mean,
you don't see some of those things when you're at the game, but yes, it was very evident. And Coach Satterfield for Cincinnati made those comments about the crowd. His post game, it mattered, and so thank you, Cincinnati. I don't know what the outcome would have been if it would have been at their stadium or even Indianapolis, but thank you for moving it because I do think that helped and had an. Sometimes you can say it helped in the home crowd, and yeah, it has an effect. Well, the false starts, it was very clear it was loud in there. And for me, was it louder than Memorial Stadium? I don't know. Maybe it hard to compare, but it was loud. Like the crowd was
I mean, it was a night
rowdy.
game after everyone took a day off to drink,
Correct.
so
That's
it
what it
should have
was.
been loud.
And yeah, a couple of those false starts. One came very, very key on their last drive of the game with 10-second
Yep.
runoff there, and a couple of them early. The first couple of drives, first drive they were moving the ball, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden 3rd and 4 false start, and then got to stop. So again, yeah, environment great, Arrowhead great, very good to get a win on a big stage like that. I don't really want to talk about the Mahomes, Kelsey, T Swift, all that stuff, but they were all there. Taylor Swift did show up. That was
That was big. First time seeing her after the engagement.
great. Obviously, a lot of comparisons and the Mahomes,
Did
right?
you
All this
see
stuff.
Did you see the Nebraska tweet that got taken down?
The tweets.
Which,
Yep. Hey, don't mess with the Swifties. It's a cult. Like, don't do it. Don't do
I
it.
felt like that was more of a shot at Travis than it was Taylor, but whatever. Fine.
um. So yeah, that was my general thought. Is like we won. That to me is huge. And I think it's bigger than some people probably even think. You lose that first game this season, who in the hell knows where it goes?
I mean, yeah, then you're starting basically 2-2. You feel like you're gonna start 2-2 if you lose the
Well,
Cincinnati game.
and especially losing on a last drive like that, they go down and score a touchdown in the last minute when we had the game basically won again, and you find a way to lose it. I think Rule wants the guys to understand that everybody too, fans included, it's not a fluke, it's not unlucky. We just got to be a little bit better than them, a little bit better here, a little bit better there. And he deflates that one score close game question when anybody asks it. He goes a different direction. That difference in this game was we had a couple of guys make a couple of plays at a couple of key moments that we just normally don't do. And we didn't beat ourselves. I don't know that we are very superior as far as talent wise across the field to Cincinnati. And I'll get to that when we start talking about players and positions. But we're going to be in a lot of close games this year. And so the importance of finding a way to win those, making the plays when we need them to, and then not beating ourselves. Like it's the opposite of what we've done over the past 5 to 7 years in Nebraska football. Like that is what we need to do to get over this hump. And we're not probably, well, the next 2 games, maybe a couple others, but I don't think there's going to be very many blowouts this year either way. They're going to be close battles. That's just where we're at as a program right now, and that's okay. But finding a way to win those is what's most important. And a couple of guys stepped up and made big plays. Like that is what you need.
Well, I mean, Malcolm had the back-breaking pass interference call and then had the interception. So we had big plays both ways, back to back.
Yes, and we can start there. I think what we're going to do for these game recaps, we're going to try to keep it a little organized and go through position by position. Malcolm Hartsock's a great one to start with because he was the one that made the big play at the end of the game, intercepting that pass. You mentioned the pass interference before. I'll go back even a little bit further. And the 4th and 7 with like a minute 10 left, they ran a little out route, and Hartsock was also the one covering him there as well.
Yep.
And both the hold, the pass interference hold, whatever you want to call it, in that play, it did not look good one-on-one. And so they attacked him. And our last play, we were in zone, but he went and made a play. And damn good one. You know, he caught it too. It's like sometimes we drop those to seal games. He did. So credit to him overcoming that. Our secondary, and Hartsock included in that, I'm going to give them more praise than probably any other position, because in order for us to win the games that we want to win this year, they are going to have to be so freaking good.
Yes.
They played well, and we knew that was a strength of our team coming in. We knew they're experienced, they're veterans. They, as the season goes along, are going to have even more and more and more responsibility, because I have a feeling we're going to have to change some things up front in the front 7, because we can trust our secondary more. And those guys, again, against Cincinnati, I don't know how good those transfer receivers are. Some people were kind of talking them up, but who knows? They're going to play a lot. We're probably going to have to play a lot of man coverage and just lock people down, because we're better out there. And
It's good up front.
Plays.
Yeah.
And they did a good job of that. This game, we shut Cincinnati's pass game down. He's supposed to be had 60-some yards of passing, like
69 with just over 50% passing, just barely over 50% passing. And even then, most of those yards came on that last drive when they were trying to march down the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had 14-yard catch and then another like 8-yard catch. So, he was pretty close. I think he might have been under 50 yards before the last 2 drives. So I agree. My gut reaction was the D-line didn't look very good, but the reason the D-line didn't look very good was because they had to run it it exposed our D-line because they had to run it because our defensive backs were so good locking up the receivers that was really the only avenue they had. So it's kind of funny because the field kind of flipped from last year's defense, where our D-line was really good and our secondary was the shoddier portion, and now I think we're going to see the opposite this year.
Yeah, defensive line is a big concern, and it's more of a concern after rewatching it too. I thought early on in the game they were getting some holes as well in the run game. Nash and Ty are, we knew they were damn good players.
Yeah, both on I guess Nash is just on a practice squad, but Ty did make the 53-man roster.
Correct.
So
that was one position in our preview that I felt okay about. Like I'm like, okay, we can fill these guys because they're backing up such good players that they learned a lot and they're going to be good too. Here, my big thing, we don't have the bodies yet.
They're not. Yeah, they're not there.
The closest that I thought was Keona Davis. Like he had a couple of times where he just, because of his sheer size was able to cause some disruption in the backfield. Riley Van Poppel, I was not impressed with. And a lot of times those guys don't play together. I think we're going to have to find the right balance of guys. Like, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but like Williams Nwaneri, he's not very big.
No, and he was the best one.
And yeah, and they can get moved around. So defensive line is concerning to me just because of the sheer size fact. And we're obviously going to see a lot better teams in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not a pushover up front. But
No,
they
we're going to see better teams than
yes.
Cincinnati up front.
And I do think the 3-3-5, you have to be very sound of clogging up and just, I mean, big bodies. You have to just fill up room in front because you have more secondary type of guys in the field. You want those guys to be flying around. And that's going to be a big thing that I think the coaching staff tweaks and adjusts. And I think they got to stay fresh too. However, you got to do that, and that's hard if you're not very deep there. But I thought we looked gassed at the end too.
Of our 52 tackles, Riley Van Poppel had 1, Keona had 3, and Williams, I don't know how you say his name.
Nwaneri, I just get rid of the
Nwaneri. Okay. He had 6. So I mean, they had.
I mean, Judy played a lot in there too. Like we had different guys that played.
Yeah, Judy didn't have any recordable stats. Not to say that everything needs to be recordable for it to count, but when you look through like the defensive tackle totals, it's all backside. There's really
not making an excuse, but I do think the 3-3-5 is not always
true
defensive lineman based tackling because your job is to fill gaps, clog holes so that your linebackers can fly around and make tackles.
Correct. But when you see that they ran for over 200 yards, it's like, okay, well, you need to get your arm on some of those guys.
Correct. And
we won't see a
stopping them at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I say we probably won't see a mobile quarterback like this. Again, I don't know if there's really any other.
I thought about that too. So obviously Sorsby beat us with his legs. About
96 yards on the ground,
especially late. Which part of me was okay with that because I know that you're playing a little more conservative when you got a 10-point lead. It was enough for us to win us the game. Hallelujah. But I do think his legs and everybody knew that he could run, but maybe didn't know the extent it causes problems. I think we were a little gassed. I do think that all of that factored in. I thought about that too. Are we going to see a better running quarterback than Sorsby? I don't know. Like I don't know what Maryland's got, but
as a team, they average 7 yards a carry.
Yes,
as a team. So that's a big red flag from where we were last year.
And their running game looked solid too. I will say that.
And you watch Tony White at Florida State, and they lock up Alabama's run game. It was like, oh boy, was that the secret sauce?
Guys, Tony White's a damn good coach. We've said it. Like losing him is a big thing, and it just we talked about it for a week or two last year, and just now it's pushed under the table. It's a big thing, and I'm not saying John Butler can't, but it was big losing some of those guys too. Like Tony White knows defense and he's a damn good coach. So whatever happened there, we don't know the details and exactly why that transition occurred. Our defense, I will say this, did not fall apart.
No, we gave up 17 points and we held them to 3 points in the first half.
Correct. And the style that we play, and this is more big picture, the more I talk to people, it was high scoring, 38-21, wanting our offense to be more explosive. Like, thought it was going to be a very different style of game.
Time of possession, we had 39 minutes. I mean, that different concern. But yeah, you're right.
Rule's not playing that way. Overall, the way this game went is how he wants to win games right now because you can't play that way on the offensive side unless you really, really are superior to the other team. You got to find a way to win close games first. And it starts playing defense and shutting people down and then building off of that. So all
Before
things said with our defense,
I'd say before switching over, what's the big defense takeaway?
it I'm not extremely disappointed. The defensive line is concerning. And I will say this with our linebackers, since we haven't talked about them yet. They flew around. And
Yeah, they
that's
looked all
what
right.
we were told they're quicker unit. Now getting maybe blocked in the second level sometimes, maybe question
Yep.
mark, but as far as them making plays and flying around, there were several different guys that made plays. Vincent Shavers made the huge strip fumble, the big hit there on the Cincinnati 2-minute drive right before half. Like that was a big player, not strip, but putting his head on the ball. Javin Wright had a huge play there on that drive as well. Like everybody made little strides, I thought, and little plays at big times at that linebacker spot. So they're gonna have to have more responsibility, I think, and we're gonna have to continue to be more creative to get some negative plays. Now, at the same time, I thought Cincinnati, and this is maybe how this defense is going to be. They either went for about 7 or 8 yards, or they went for about 0 or -2. There weren't many just 2 or 3 yard gains. Different style that maybe we're used to. When the hole was open and blown open, it was like, oh boy, what happened there? But there were times that were like, holy cow, we had 3 guys by the ball and there were 2 yards in the backfield. So maybe that syncing up the blitzing and all of that, timing out the play right. I'm going to call it guessing, but having the right play call given what they're doing. So
I have a hunch that a lot of teams are going to try to run the ball on us this year. And so we've got a lot of games to figure it out because it's going
yep,
to happen every game. But we did win the turnover battle. I mean, we had 2 turnovers. So
correct.
that's not nothing.
And yeah, credit again to those guys making those plays. They came at big points in the game too. That I mean that's the thing. And yeah, I do think our secondary is going to have a lot more responsibility because we're going to see our interior 7 have to stick more guys in the box, be a little more aggressive there, and just trust that our back end can hold up one-on-one. And a lot of that's going to depend on matchups with who we got across the field. But I feel pretty good. They tried to test Andrew Marshall early a couple of times, and he held his own. He did a good job as well. So again, overall defense, like not obviously, I don't think we're there like we have in the past few years, but through game 1, not a big fall off, not a big drop off.
I said they were 3 for 10 on third downs. I mean, they were 2 for 2 on fourth downs, but there are things that are to be happy about. But I definitely feel it's just tough when you're coming from last year's defense to this year's defense. It's
Correct.
like, oh, that's right. This isn't last year's team.
Okay, let's jump over other side of the ball here. Talk offense. Start with Dylan. The guys,
It looks good.
the guy is guys. It's what we wanted to get a quarterback in Nebraska after 2 years ago. Someone that's not going to make mistakes, manage the game, lead the team, and do your job. That's what he's doing right now. And is he right now a Heisman breaking, stat numbering, explosive offense type of quarterback? No. Do some people want him to be that? I don't know. Maybe. Is that
If
what we need right now?
I
No.
say if every week he rolled out with 75% completion, 0 turnover, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns, I'd take that every week.
I think fans just in general want an explosive offense, an exciting offense to watch. They thought maybe this week looked bland. Maybe it did.
I mean, there weren't any big plays.
I don't know that we are that talented. Now, we're going to hear that we're that talented from random people, how good all these players are. Compared to other teams that we're playing, I don't know that we are. So we just got to be a little bit better than them. And it starts with Dylan being an above average quarterback and not making mistakes. And Dylan, just watching that game back too, so many smart throws and plays that he did. And complete. I watched so many quote unquote good quarterbacks this weekend in some of
Look
these big
terrible.
games. Just may not look terrible, but miss some easy throws. Like Dylan did not miss
There was only
any
one throw,
throws.
and that was definitely like it was a miscommunication where it's like what just happened there, where
Correct.
the receiver went out inside instead of out. That was really the only time where you're like, oh geez, like that was way off. But the rest of them was like, okay, that's close, that's well covered, or he kind of knew that that one wasn't going to get caught, so he kind of threw it uncatchable, and he only missed 9 passes
He just
out of 42.
he manages the game so well. And you heard Rule talk about what Cincinnati was giving us. Cincinnati plays a lot of zone, play a lot of deep coverage. The amount of third and four, third and five, third and six that we converted because Dylan just said, I'm going to take what they're going to give us and get a first. Like that happened like 6 or 7 times in this game. And he did such a great job of just making the smart play. That's
It's worth
all it is.
and it's worth pointing out that their defensive line is a serious defensive line. Like I mean, they weren't. He was operating under pressure a lot.
Correct. Will we see better defensive lines? We probably will.
Yes.
But yeah, one of their strengths and their best player on their entire roster was the Godfather up front. And I mean, that guy was
Great nickname. Incredible nickname.
that guy was as big as expected too.
Yeah.
Like he's such a big dude. And and Dylan, like you said, handled the pressure, handled all the hype, and performed solid. He's not going to go. I don't want him to. I don't want him to have to want to go out and throw for 350 and take a bunch of risks and put up 4 touchdown, 1 interception numbers. I don't think that's the way that we want to win games right now. I don't think that's the way Rule wants to win games right now. I think Rule wants to do what Dylan's got to do, what he's got to do. And my concern, maybe some people's like hope, was that Dana was going to come in and just revamp this thing and make it flashy and Dana Holgerson from back in the day type of offense. No, like we had a lot of under center, double tight, Dana also was to that narrative. So who again, whether that's Dana calling that shot or Rule, infiltrating Dana's mind, saying this is what we need to do as a program, figure this out. Credit to our offense for doing that. Now, am I saying our offense is phenomenal and perfect? No, not at all.
It was a little not boring, but I mean it was pretty meat and potatoes.
And that's the negative comment. But in games that we're just gonna have to freaking win by a score, and that's what it's gonna look like a lot. Maybe there's gonna be some more times we can test people downfield, but third quarter, Bonner goes down, gets hurt. Corey Barney got tripped up a couple. The one jet sweep he got could have been a really big play. And Isaiah Hunter, I thought, did some really good things. Dane Key, here's my Dane Key thoughts. He can run routes and get open.
He was there when he needed to be.
I was watching his routes on TV too. Like he's the first guy that we've had in a while that can run a route to get open and knows how to do it without breakaway speed. And we haven't had. Now I don't know that he's maybe a guy that we're going to be able to send downfield and throw him the ball. I don't think that's his role, but he is going to be the guy that we can throw to on. And Dylan liked throwing to him. You could tell on a lot of those third downs, and that one the goal line too. He trusts him. He's a veteran guy. He did our receivers. I was pleasantly surprised with. Like that's what it's going to look like for a lot of the year. I think Isaiah's got maybe some big play potential.
Yeah, out of he has the big play as far as downfield catches. It was pretty evenly distributed across 5 guys. I would be shocked the way that the balls were being played. I mean, Jacory and Emmett are going to end up injured on the sideline at some point if this is how they get used all year. I mean, they were absolutely getting they were catching it. To their credit, they were catching the ball, but then, bam, like
it's a lot. Jacory. It's a lot of dump downs. Now, is that a product of the offense or what Cincinnati has given us? The coaching staff's going to say Cincinnati's given us that.
I'd say it's probably a little bit of both. Yep. It's designed for I bet there are a lot of shots that were designed for if there's one shot open, you're taking it, if not immediately dumping it. But I mean, Emmett and Ja'Cory were getting absolutely rocked. It seemed like every time they caught the ball.
Yeah,
So
there were a lot of immediate.
yes. So I mean, Dylan's getting it in that window. It's a small window, and they were holding on to the ball. They weren't fumbling it, but boy, I was like, it's gonna be a long season for those two guys if they're getting cooked like that.
And give Cincinnati a little credit too. I mean, seriously, if you don't know anything about Nebraska football, you know nothing, and you're going in to play them next week. One of the things you're going to say is let them beat themselves. Hell, PJ Fleck and Kirk Ferentz have done that for years and kicked our butt doing it. So, what are you going to do? Well, defensively, let's just wait till they fumble it. Let's wait till Dylan gets aggressive and throws a pick and get tip pass pick. Let's just make them have 14, 15 play drives and go down and score.
Yep.
That generally speaking, that's what you would do because we find a way to beat ourselves. We just do. So credit to Cincinnati. That was our game plan. Now we did enough to not let that work. I mean, I'll give Dylan a lot of the credit there in the coaching staff. Like that's what they gave us.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, the passing game was fine. It was sufficient. Is what it needed to be. We were pretty efficient on third downs. We had a lot of third downs, but we did pretty all right with them until the end when we kind of needed to produce a little bit more. There were some more general like offensive comments of, when we get towards the end of the fourth quarter there and we have the ball, it's like, okay, why are we running this? There were some things where it's like I felt like our clock management a little bit at the end. We were getting a little too cute when we hadn't been cute the whole game, but it was good. It was sufficient.
I'm also trying to, as I'm talking now, because I a lot of things right now, I'm like, oh boy, a lot of things coming out pretty positive right now, pretty encouraging. I'm trying to put myself, they score on that last drive, we lose. How does the tone flip in a lot of these conversations? On the offensive side, specifically, like
We're too conservative. That's the comment.
It's conservative. How does it flip? Now, do I don't know that I personally don't want us to go out and try to just be super aggressive all the time. I just don't. Our team is not ready to leap from a really shitty offense last year to all of a sudden one of the top 20 offenses in the country. We're not. That's not. I don't think we're built that way to do that. Can we gradually get there? Potentially. But I think we got to see a game like this where was it explosive? No, but were there parts of it that were like, huh? Yeah, there were. Well, before we move on from Dylan, I want to mention Dylan's transformation, mentioned several times in the broadcast, of his body. You know, his weight didn't change much.
He looks good.
I'm going to say he looks better.
Wow. Look at you.
I'm just going to say he looks better. Here's what was a little more encouraging. He was more elusive in the pocket. I wrote down the word that someone used, the announcers used. Climbing the pocket was what this little segment.
He was very good at stepping up in the pocket when it came in around, because it happened a lot.
And that is a little bit of credit, I think, to his body and being a little more elusive. And he had one big scramble for a first down. He's not where I personally would want a quarterback with their ability. Like I want him to get even more towards Mahomes. Now I wasn't expecting to be that level now. No, we took a step in the right direction. I still think there's times that he's not there yet, but it got better. Like he definitely took a step up from last year in mechanics of stepping up in the pocket and having to maybe move a little bit to get an angle, and all of that. Now, that being said, he still knows how to use his arm angle incredibly well. So that maybe counters that a little bit and takes a little bit of that need for running away. But it got better. Like I'm not like, holy cow, Dylan Raiola is right where we want to be from mobile side of things. I don't think that, but I think he took a step in the right direction to it. I want to see a little bit more usage. I don't want him to run 12 times designed runs, but I like I think it's an added element when your quarterback can run a QB draw on 3rd and 6 and get a first down. It's another thing you got to prepare for. I don't think that we're doing that with Dylan yet.
There was one 3rd down where we ended up punting, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like if Dylan was ready for it, I think we could have pushed for it. I don't remember which down it was, but I do remember being like, that's a pretty close one. I'm surprised we didn't go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I thought he looked good. And yeah, I guess we'll talk about the running game here in a little bit. But Dylan, there wasn't a moment where I was like, what are you doing, Dylan? What was that?
Yeah. And again, running and QB running games, there's all levels of it on a full spectrum. Like Dylan obviously is not a running quarterback, and he's never going to be. But
no, he just wanted to be mobile.
I just want him to be a little more mobile, and we took a step there with where he's at now. He's not where I want him to be, though. Just watching some of these other big time teams, like they can use their not just use their quarterback, but their quarterback makes plays with their feet.
Well, I mean, he had that run pass option there to score that touchdown with, or no, we didn't score the touchdown. We were just shy, right? We were on the one
past the Lindenmeyer. Which
yeah.
Before we talk about end receivers, how about Luke Lindenmeyer? I mean,
he looked like a freaking dog.
He looks like a tight end. He looks like the tight end that all these guys that have gotten hurt and been highly touted recruits and brought in. Like,
yeah,
he did what we wanted all of them to do. Like he
blocked. End. He blocked and he looked big. He looked tough to take down.
And I think we used him appropriately too. Like he got a couple of tough passes too. I mean, that RPO that you're talking about, that was a last minute Dylan like RPO. I'm gonna run. Oh shoot, I can't run. Let's just dump it over here a little bit behind with it. Like it was impressive.
And then he had
your tight ends.
And then he had the big catch on the sideline where he was impossible to take down, where he's just taking shots but still in bounds.
And I had to throw that in there too, because he also is a walk-on, been in the program for a long, long time, stuck with it. He's going to get dividends this year. I mean, he really is. Run game.
The Emmett Johnson game. There's no one else. It's going to be a long season. I'm worried that he won't be able to hold up because he was 25 carries out of the 35.
But I'll tell you what, and I'm with you on the worry. That's not an uncommon take. Watching this back on TV,
he looks good.
Jeez. Out of anybody that I was going into the year, like, all right, I've heard the hype of this guy getting better or coming in and going to be damn good. It was Emmett Johnson saying, nope, I can be a workhorse back. Now, it comes with injury, but you want to talk about a guy all the way through the game who was just taking shots and shots and shots. And
no, that's just
but he didn't have any breakaway like huge runs, but he made a couple of times like a 1-yard loss turn into a 3-yard gain. He made a 2-yard gain turn into a 7-yard gain just because of his extra push and toughness that he has. I was very impressed with Emmett getting the ball that many times too and sustaining it throughout the game.
He had 32. This is just catches. I'm not talking targets, but 32 possessions between runs and passes of our 68 offensive plays.
The ball was in his hands.
The ball is in his hands. So that's why I got a little nervous. He looked like a dude. He looked really good. 25 touches for 25 runs for 108 yards, and then 7 catches for 27 yards. And obviously they didn't give Nelson or Muzi really any opportunity to do anything with the ball. They both only got 1 carries, but 1 carry each.
And I don't know enough about running backs to watch a game and go, this looks good, this looks bad. It's hard to tell without being a coach. I thought Emmett came out the gates and looked very like he's played football before. I'm going to say this about Isaiah Mosey and Mekhi Nelson. They looked like freshmen, and they didn't get many touches. I don't think that was the plan going into the game today. You watch their first couple of carries, they look timid. I'm not bashing on freshmen, but I kind of hate him. They look timid.
They just wanted to dip their toes.
They didn't hit the hole hard.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we wouldn't see that. Those two early on, their first couple of touches when we tried to give them an opportunity, they just looked scared. And that might be why Emmett ended up getting 25 carries in a game that you don't have much room for error. And so I
I
don't
mean, the
know if
next
that's
two
the
highest
plan.
rushers, it wasn't even like Heinrich had 2 carries and Bonner had 2 carries, and both the freshmen had 2 carries total between the two of them. So, I mean, they clearly wanted to go with experience. They're like, we
I
need to
see.
win this game.
My mind, I disagree. I don't know that they. I don't think that they were trying. I don't think the intention going into the game was to give it to Emmett. I think going in, and then they watched Emmett, and then they watched Mosey, and there were a couple of runs. I just was early on. I was like, oh God, and I think the coaches probably went, oh God, like these guys aren't ready yet for a game like this. So Emmett, hey, calling down to Emmett Johnson on the field. Hey, Emmett, you're ready to go because you're going to get 20 plus this game. Just be ready. I think that's what I don't think it was designed for Emmett to get 25 carries. I don't think. I could be wrong. But I just thought early on those two freshmen didn't look ready. And Emmett obviously looked experienced. So
The run
that was
game
my
outside
take
of,
on the run game.
let's say, the run game outside of Emmett did not look good. Emmett with the ball, it's like, oh, this guy's pushing like we were getting decent holes and he was finding the holes, but there were a lot of times where it's like, oh, he just pushed that pile 2 yards. So it was like it was really a 1 yard carry, but he pushed it for 3.
So I'm a little bit away from that. Like I thought our offensive line gave some good holes.
They
And
did, they did.
I
But
thought that I Emmett did not. Emmett got us an extra couple of yards when the contact was made. There weren't many times that Cincinnati was just clogging up the run game early on. They did a few times. I thought our offensive line played
good.
like above average. Like
Yeah.
I was like very happy with it. And so yeah, our run game overall, like I'm pretty satisfied with it. Big mention here outside of Emmett, our run game. There's one other thing that was awesome.
No
That
fumbles?
what?
No fumbles?
No, we tush pushed like 4 times,
Oh.
3 times, and that's one play that I ever since it's now in football. Why teams don't do it is just beyond me. I mean, come on, you have to have an offensive line, but you really don't. I mean, when you're trying to get a yard,
I am surprised it hasn't made its way into college football yet. Not
well,
even like one team.
it's here now. Thank you, Dana Rule. Like we needed a yard, and it's funny. No one's talking about it because it looks so easy every time. People are maybe used to. I don't know, used to it. We went up there 3 times, and one time we got I think 4 yards off of it in the first half. And
Nope.
maybe Cincinnati wasn't ready for it. And if you're not ready for the tush push, and you don't practice it against it, it's very hard to stop. Now, will teams be ready for it and say, okay, when it's third and short, Nebraska's coming out, it's like they do with the Eagles. They're going to come out on third and short, fourth and short. Here's what we got to do to stop it. I don't think Cincinnati knew we were going to do that because we've never shown it. So that was huge, though. I mean, it was four times that we converted a third or fourth down in within 1 or 2 yards. So that was encouraging as well. Heinrich got to run a couple of those there. So I thought the offensive line, kudos to that group. I was very encouraged with some of the holes that we got, the runs. We did not have many runs that went from not 8 to 40. Like, do you want a couple of those? Yes. I also, again, think that's a lot of the way Cincinnati was playing. They're playing zone coverage. They're not loading the box a lot and taking risks. They're just playing the back end. So that's going to result in a lot of the type of runs that we had. And we took what we got, and it was enough to win the game.
I agree. Yeah, I guess my last couple like overall offensive comments. One, penalties, pretty limited. I think we had one false start, then we had the unnecessary roughness on the first drive, which was a freaking killer. But
Yeah, couple that first one, and that came from Latovsky, who was
yeah,
supposed to be our leader on the line. That hurt.
and then
Pritchett,
two,
that hurt. That goal line one, that hurt. I mean,
that one hurt.
that's not one that anybody's like, why the fuck we? It was just like when it happened, we're just like, oh god.
Yep, that one hurt. My other, it again. I thought the offense looked fine. You don't feel great coming away with only 20 points, primarily because we had 27 more plays with them than the opponent, like 27 more plays than they had.
Where was the ones that in the third? It was 61-36 at one point on our
Yeah.
eighth drive. Towards the end of the game, it was like, oh boy.
And we had possession. We had it almost twice as long as they did. We only 40 minutes to 20 minutes, and we only scored 20 points, which I understand that's kind of design of the game of we're gonna because this is what we have to do against better teams. But you'd like to execute a little better in the red zone than what we did.
Yeah. The good news is I think all this stuff and rules post game spoke to it. We got things to work on. I don't know what the expectation was from the coaching staff standpoint coming into this game. Whether they can watch film and say, okay, we're better than we should beat Cincinnati by X amount of points, and then we squeak out a 1-score win. I think getting the 1-score win is most important, number one. And then you figure out things you need to work on. There's clearly a lot of things to work on here. You got a couple of good weeks to do it, and then you face Michigan and the rest of our schedule. Where now, who knows? UCLA could be bad after they got killed by Utah. Northwestern could be bad, getting killed by Tulane. So who knows?
They disrespected New Orleans, that's why Northwestern got killed. Don't disrespect New Orleans.
But you know what? It's kind of funny now thinking about it, whether I'm starting to talk about chalking up wins already. These next two games we can chalk up wins. I really do. That's disregarding us as a program. Akron and Houston Christian are not good football teams. Akron, how about Akron this week?
The Zips? I didn't see what their score was.
Don't look. 10-0. Wyoming beat them 10-0.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we got some time to work on some stuff on both ends of the ball. We were talking about special teams too, because
solid.
It
our Lord and Savior.
It just is what it needs to be. Now, and maybe a little bit beyond that, because the early 52-yarder,
yes,
Cunanan drilled.
Yeah.
And it does. It makes a big difference when you have a punter like Archie who put two inside the 10. Like, were they at the 2-yard line? No. I mean, those are like excellent. He's going to do it this year. But like the punts that he just put it right out of bounds at the 9-yard line is like, okay, like my job's done. So I think his brain works like, okay, like you're welcome. I'm done. Let me know when you need me again. Like,
yeah,
it was good. It was very good.
We had decent, granted, all the punts, he didn't have to hit a big punt. I don't even know what, I feel like we moved the ball pretty close to half midfield before we had to punt anyways each time. But yeah, 3 punts inside the 20, couple inside the 10, got 52-yard field goal and 2 for 2 on field goals. Like, it was exactly what it needed to be. Nothing. It kept the game moving, but it, put them in the defense in better positions and solved a couple problems for the offense. So our return game still not really existence. No, but that's just a product of the game and where the ball's placed. And
yeah, and the punt returns, I thought, we didn't have many opportunities there. I just watching it back, they were right there when we caught it. Rule does not like to fair catch. We know that. So he wants guys to make plays, and I think Eckler does too, obviously coming in with all of his previous positions of success. So special teams, it's hard to make here's the thing with special teams. It's difficult to make a game-changing play on special teams, but when you do, or I should say difficult to make a great play on special teams, but when you do, they're usually game-changing. It's also where you can make game-losing plays by really messing up. And we've done a lot more of that than the opposite. The opportunities here tonight, we didn't make a game-changing play necessarily, but we had a good, solid game from a special teams unit. And again,
also,
don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Worth pointing out, our Lord and Savior Archie Wilson, none of the punts were returnable.
Nope.
So, none of them. That's exactly what you want. Inside the 20, unreturnable.
Yeah, so last big comment I have here on the game. Did we close it out exactly how we wanted it to? No, probably not. No, if you're measuring it on wins and losses, then yes, we did. But I want to call out our there are 2 places that I'm going to give a little more credit to one credit to our defense here. Right after we go forward on 4th and 2, I believe that was our opening drive in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Cincinnati gets the ball, a couple of big plays, goes down and scores. I didn't realize how early in the second half all this happened. They get the ball back, 4 minutes left in the third, up 3. All the momentum has just completely gone to Cincinnati's side right now. We got the ball coming out of half. Stopped. They score. We get stopped again. Cincinnati comes out, and our defense goes 3 and out. And Deshaun McCullough makes a big play, batting down the Sorsby pass, and then we get a coverage sack on 3rd down, 3 and out. That stop, that was huge at that point in the game. Like, it gave us some momentum back.
It stopped the bleeding. It felt like the game was turning because we had I don't know, what was it, 6-minute drive to open the game, the third quarter, and we didn't score. It's just like, oh no.
And that drive, remember too, had the 4th and 2, like it could have been a pick 6.
Yes.
Like it almost should have been.
It was right there.
It felt like, okay, we're hanging on by a thread here right now. And the defense came out in a big stop there. So I wanted to call up that drive. I thought that was huge. And then fast forward to the end of the game when we went down, scored. We got the ball 7 minutes, up 3. So this was after they scored to go 20-17. We get the ball up 3 with 7 minutes to go. What has these teams done in the past?
Turn it over.
Well, turn it over.
Bad field position.
Or we run it.
Pass the ball. Don't get the clock to run.
We give them the ball back. They have 5 minutes left for their last drive. Now, ideally, would you like to go down and score and just put the nail in the coffin? Yes. But we had the ball 7 minutes, up 3. Dana comes out, first 3 plays, pass.
Yeah, no. It was killing me.
Call it what you want, but that is what they were giving us. We got 2 first downs on those plays. Little questionable on when we were snapping the ball, and there were 4 or 5 minutes left.
Yes.
But there's a fine line there of momentum and drives and all of that. Like, and we've also done all right, 7 minutes left. Let's run the clock down to 2 seconds and run it 3 times and give them the ball back with 4.5 minutes left and see what happens. So there was still a little bit of aggressiveness there. Did it end in a touchdown? No, but we took 5 minutes off the clock. Biggest thing, we made them use all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah.
And then Archie pins them inside the 10. That drive, while not perfect, was huge for their last drive, then to have to work the whole way down the field, no timeouts, loud crowd, like that matters. So wanted to call out that drive too, of the fine line of being aggressive without overdoing it from Dana. I know maybe some people, like you mentioned it, like the pass. But I think at the same time, when there's 7 minutes left, it's time and situation. Is that enough time to just say get super conservative? I think you gotta find that fine line there. And I thought that drive we did a pretty damn good job. Now it did not result in points. That's best case scenario, but at least we had a somewhat of a game killing ending drive that helped. So and then obviously we mentioned full circle, the Hartzog big play at the end after
right. They still ended up having enough time to get into field goal range and probably
correct
could have done more damage if they didn't throw an interception.
Correct. So I was writing down notes. The last note I wrote was "we win" in all caps, like, and circled it.
We won.
I think that it's huge to win this game, not in perfect fashion. A lot of things to work on, but this game did not go any different than I thought it would. I've been wrong on a lot of games in the past on this is style. This is how Matt Rule wants to play and wants to win right now with the players that we have. I don't think we have the talent and the players and the explosiveness to go out and beat teams like Cincinnati, who I don't think they're not great. But Cincinnati has a chance to make a bowl game. Like, they're a Power 5 school. They're not. I don't think they're Northwestern either. I think they'd beat Northwestern by a couple of touchdowns. So I do think that it's always good to get a win here. There's a lot of things to work on. But like we're 1-0, 3-0, 1-0. Focus on Michigan this week.
Focus on Michigan. Wow, you are. Look at you.
I texted Dak. I said, we're gonna be both Oklahoma and Michigan, or Oklahoma and Nebraska, gonna be prepping for Michigan this week.
Wow, this is so. What? This is a new hunter. This
It's
last
not a
year
new hunter. It's not a new hunter. It's Akron, Houston Christian are horrible.
You literally last year even like we can't overlook any games. We can't. We're not that good. We can't overlook any games. There are people out there chalking it as a win. It's not a win.
These
Okay.
games you can overlook. There's most games you can't overlook. These games you can overlook. They're not good.
What percentage did you give us to beat Akron?
100 in both of them.
Did you really?
Actually, no. I think Akron I gave 99. I think I gave 100 Houston Christian.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I gave 100 Houston Christian. That's for sure. All right. Well, we can't get Dak's comments because he's not responsible.
He's not recovering.
He's recovering. So we even moved it back to 8 a.m. for him this morning, but he still couldn't get that to work. So we'll get his thoughts on Thursday, and we will talk some Akron Zips. See if they can score their first points of the year against us.
Hopefully not, but my gut says yes.
I think the opening line came out. It was 34.5 when it opened. I don't know what it moved to. So
I guess I saw 34.5 as well.
So yeah, we're not losing. If we lose, the podcast will be ending.
Fair enough.
Hey, go Big Red.
GBR.